What's going on, everybody? Astrocatical here. Welcome to the Astrocastrophe, and it appears that we are having another Trumpian week because it is trending on Twitter right now. World War III. This is the #1 topic that everyone seems to be discussing, and so I swing on to the internet today. I work a third shift job, so I sleep in the day. I wake up around 5 in the afternoon. I sleep about 9 a.m. Wake up. So it's kind of a morbidly depressing cycle to wake up to something like that, you know, as soon as it's starting to get dark out and you see that people are talking about World War III and it's trending on Twitter. I mean, people are always talking about the end times. I mean, World War III doesn't necessarily mean the end of days, but with the advent of nuclear war and technology and just the sheer size of armies, the United States Army, which is kind of, in my mind, has been split and divided into two halves. The Russian army, the Chinese army, and all these other world powers. I think it would be a complete catastrophe, or things could be settled in a way we have never seen before. I mean, the last time we had a great war was all the way back in the 1940s. Things have changed. But for the most part, the war between Russia and Ukraine has been pretty steadfast. They've been fighting nonstop. So my first assumption would be that it could very well be a catastrophe. Anyways, it's nothing I would hope or pray for, but I am kind of at a point to where I am looking at these sorts of things from a Nietzschean view, where as cold and callous as this may sound, I feel there's a lot of stagnation in the world right now. And so with the way everything has become, with the way everyone has become so divided on issues, and, you know, the things that people are protesting, the things that people are calling, you know, political and social issues, you know, a lot of the honk clown world stuff. It's just like a Nietzschean view would be the only way to stop the stagnation and actually make progress is for a war to happen. He made a very cold quote once a long time ago about mankind's inner progress being paved the way by bloodshed or something like that. But I don't want to digress any further into that. It is just my view, because I've adopted somewhat of a cynical approach. I would say there is, yes, a looming threat of World War III, and I think Trump is pointing that out. Do I think he is the guy to settle all this? Well, it would be nice. I will say that. I'm not really a fan of Trump, but it would be nice. It would be nice. You're probably not going to get that out of a Democrat who you throw into office. Is they're not going to go in there and look at the problem for what it is. No, they're going to continue to do these illicit trade deals with countries that we don't know about, and they're going to continue to have these relationships with people that are fueling the proxy wars in the Middle East and everywhere else, you know, that we're supplying guns to or taking opiates from or doing something like that. They're just going to perpetuate the cycle of abuse. Trump, however, he at least he makes such a stink that you assume that something has to be going on. That you know, he has to be in there somewhere, throwing a monkey wrench into the woodwork, because a lot of people are getting upset. Not the greatest guy. He's not someone I admire. He's not someone I like. As a matter of fact, I don't think he's the person who would really save us. But I think, if anything, he's the closest person we have to making an attempt at pulling the knife out of our backs from the sort of establishment that has pinned us down as these slaves to its own sense of capitalism and every other crooked sense of governmental enforcement it has brought upon us. Anyways, I've drug on a lot, so let's go to the video real quick here. Here it is via Twitter, and the first thing that I noticed is just the definition, the background of this. I can't believe it. This, at first, it kind of made me think, is this a deep fake? Because just the way, the quality it presents, and just the way it looks, it's just so unnatural and superficial to me. But I don't know, that really has no relevancy to what he's saying right now. This video has split Twitter up into two groups. I think people arguing, saying that this is they're saying that this is propaganda from the Kremlin. I mean, man, how many years have we been down that road already? You know, since 2016, and all these probes. How long are we going to continue down this fucking road? And you know, like, this is just the sort of stuff that makes me go, okay, if a bomb drops, all right, I'm tired. I'm really fucking tired of having this discussion. If this will get you to shut up, sure. I mean, I know that's just not the appropriate thing for me to say, but that is also me expressing that, you know, World War III might happen, and there might be a reason for it, and it might be due to ignorance, that we are not being careful and perceptive to analyzing the situation for what it is, and maybe he's making an attempt to do that. Yeah, and so if we deserve to have bombs dropped on us, then so be it. It's the fault of our own ignorance. But let's just push this on a little bit further, see what he has to say.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America Last globalists and the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex. One of the reasons I was the only president in generations who didn't start a war is that I was the only president who rejected the catastrophic advice of many of Washington's generals, bureaucrats, and the so-called diplomats who only know how to get us into conflict, but they don't know how to get us out.
I think he's mostly right about that. The only thing I can really remember from his administration that was any sort of conflict was when he fired those Tomahawks into Syria. That was the only time I could really ever think of him doing something that the establishment and the neocons sort of commanded him to do. Also, another thing is he just looks, oh god, he just sort of looks a little just worn out in this video. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he doesn't seem like he's on top of things just mentally. I think it's just like the bloodshot eyes, really. Maybe he's getting old, or maybe he's just getting drunk off the fumes of fucking all the terrible shit that's going on, you know. And I definitely think, you know, with all these fires and derailments and everything that's going on, a weak president, a failing economy, you know, right now, to be perfectly honest, would be the best time to invade us. We are at the weakest we have ever been in years right now. We wouldn't even know what to fucking do. And that's why this is becoming a problem.
Decades, we've had the very same people, such as Victoria Nuland and many others just like her, obsessed with pushing Ukraine toward NATO, not to mention the State Department support for uprisings in Ukraine. These people have been seeking confrontation for a long time, much like the case in Iraq and other parts of the world, and now we're teetering on the brink of World War III. And a lot of people don't see it, but I see it, and I've been right about a lot of things. They all say Trump's been right about everything.
Yeah, I don't think he's been right about everything. I do think he's been right about a lot of things, but so is Alex Jones. Alex Jones is like all the ludicrous shit that comes out of his mouth. A lot of it has been happening. And did you know that even the funniest one was when he sits there and says that he's turning into frogs gay? There is video footage somewhere out there. I don't know where this facility is. I don't know if it's government funded, but they have effectively changed the sex of male frogs and mated them with other male frogs. It's just like, oh, well, what do you know? What do you fucking know? He was right. But we thought that was a joke. No, apparently he was serious. None
of this excuses in any way the outrageous and horrible invasion of Ukraine 1 year ago, which would have never happened if I was your president, not even
That's
a
right.
little chance. But it does mean that here in America, we need to get rid of the corrupt globalist establishment that has botched every major foreign policy decision for decades. And that
I don't know if he would be capable of doing that. He was not able to do it last time. But the only saving grace with him is he's the only person who's willing to do it. I don't really know if DeSantis would be the person who's willing to fight them head on like that. I can see him, for the most part, doing things for the interest of America, but at the same time, I can kind of see him bowing down and doing things to them because it's such a crooked establishment that they have their tentacles on everything. You know, I don't know the full extent of it, but I think for the most part, Trump is the only person who would really go out of his way to do things. If he is he going to stop them? I don't know.
That includes President Biden, whose own people said he's never made a good decision when it comes to looking at other countries and looking at wars. We have to replace them with people who support American interests. Over our 4 years in the White House, we made incredible progress in putting the America Last contingent aside and bringing the world to peace. And now we're going to complete the mission. The State Department, Pentagon, and national security establishment will be a very different place by the end of my administration. In fact, just into my administration, it'll be a very different place, and it'll get things done, just like I did 4 years ago. We never had it so good. We'll also stop the lobbyists and the big defense contractors from going in and pushing our senior military and national security officials toward conflict, only to reward them when they retire with lucrative jobs, getting paid millions and millions of dollars. Take a look at the globalist warmonger donors backing our opponents. That's because they're candidates of war. I am the president who delivers peace, and it's peace through strength. There was a reason we had no conflict. There was a reason we didn't get into wars, because other countries respected us. I entirely built, all right from the beginning, rebuilt our military. It's a big reason for that. They didn't want to mess around with the United States, and now they're laughing at us. We could end the Ukraine conflict in 24 hours.
Yes. I agree with all of this. They're laughing at us, and I do think that he can and would end the conflict with Ukraine in 24 hours. I've heard the same stories about Iraq. You know, we could have ended these conflicts within 24 hours, 20 to 48 hours. But instead, we extended them into these year, almost decade-long wars. And the obvious reason for doing that is profiteering. I don't know any other reason, but I think he's absolutely right about that. And we are being laughed at by every other country out there. This is the worst presidency we have ever had. No one really seems to deny that at this point, but anything's better than Trump.
With the right leadership. At the end of my next 4 years, the warmongers and frauds and failures of the senior ranks of our government will all be gone, and we will have a new group of competent national security officials who believe in defending America's vital interests above all else. Thank you very much.
Now, is he going to win the presidency? I don't know. So there you are, tonight's video within a video. There is a foreboding message from the former president, number 45, a looming threat of World War III over the horizon. Should we be prepared for it? Should we vote Joe Biden out of office? Should we throw DeSantis in there? Should we throw DeSantis in there and make Trump his vice president and have a sort of Dick Cheney and George Bush operation? I don't know. I certainly would like something like that, but I don't see it happening. Anyways, I am going to get back to playing Dead Space. I have just purchased that game. I think it is wonderful, and I am of course talking about the remake. I'm not talking about the original one. This is a great game. I'm going to get back to playing it. I will be uploading videos and providing a link to my Twitch or DLive, whichever one I decide to use. I'm more of a fan of DLive. Twitch is just it's too bloated of a channel or platform for me to operate on at the moment. Not me taking it down a peg or two. I think it's wonderful, but I think it's very much like YouTube, and it's oversaturated with content. Anyways, I'm Master Caticle, and this has been the Astrocastrophe. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.